He opened his eyes to darkness. The air was thick, hot. Something was burning nearby. The smell of blood and smoke mixed in the air. The man sat up slowly. His head was heavy, and his muscles ached. He didn't know his name. He didn't know where he was. But he knew one thing for sure. He was not safe. A soft green light blinked from the corner of the room. It was a metal chamber, walls scratched, black stains on the floor. Chains hung from the ceiling like the legs of dead insects. The place felt like a cage, a dirty cage. And he was the animal inside. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed outside the chamber. It was not human. It was not from Earth. It was something else. Something big. The man stood up. His body reacted before his brain. His legs moved fast. His hands clenched. His muscles remembered what he didn't. He was a soldier. Maybe not by title, but by nature. The first enemy. The chamber door opened with a loud hiss. A giant alien beast stepped in. At least 8 feet tall. Skin like stone, glowing yellow eyes, and claws sharp as blades. The creature sniffed the air and growled. The man didn't move. The alien roared and charged forward, swinging its arm to crush the human, but the man ducked. He moved like a shadow, smooth, fast, natural. He grabbed a loose metal bar from the floor and jammed it into the alien's side. The beast screamed. Blood thick and black sprayed across the wall. The alien swung again. The bar broke. The man rolled to the side and grabbed a chain hanging from the ceiling. With strength he didn't understand. He jumped, wrapped the chain around the alien's neck, and pulled hard. The beast thrashed, clawing at him, cutting his arm. But the man didn't stop. He pulled tighter and tighter, until the alien dropped, lifeless. He fell to his knees, breathing hard, his hands shaking, his arm bleeding. He stared at the body. What the hell is going on? The camera from the corner of the ceiling, something clicked. A red light. A camera. Someone was watching. Suddenly, a voice echoed from a hidden speaker. Test complete. Human subject. Stable. Danger level. Rising. The man looked up. Who are you? Where am I? But no answer came. Only silence. Go -7 far above the prison cell, on a floating command center. Alien officers stood in a control room. One of them, tall and slim with a silver mask, looked at the screen showing the human. He killed a Torvak barehanded. The officer said. Another alien, smaller with blue skin, replied, Impossible. Torvaks are war creatures. Genetically made. One can kill a squad of fighters. Then this one is not a regular human, the tall one said. Maybe the stories are true. Maybe humans evolve in war. They both turned to the screen as the man inside the cell slowly stood up again, wrapping his wounded arm in cloth. The others later, the man was moved. 2 flying drones entered the room and pointed weapons at him. He didn't resist. They led him through dark, narrow tunnels. The walls were made of rusted steel. Alien symbols were carved everywhere. Blood stains. Claw marks. Screams echoed in the distance. They reached a large room, a kind of holding area. Inside were others. Not humans. No, these were all different alien species. At least 20 of them. Some tall, some short, some with 4 arms, others with none. All of them were prisoners, and all of them were looking at him. The man stood silent. He felt their eyes. He saw fear, hate, curiosity. A large green alien with spikes on his back stepped forward. You. Human, it said, its voice deep and thick. You killed the Torvak? The man nodded. Slowly. The alien laughed. Good. I hope you die slower than he did. Then it walked away. The game begins hours. Past. The man learned the name of the place from whispers and guards. Gorash 7, a prison planet, controlled by the Zareth Empire. A place where enemies of the Empire were sent to rot, fight, or die. There, were no laws, no escape. No hope. But there was one thing. The games. Prisoners were forced into deadly battles. The Empire watched for fun. It was sport for them. Some called it the show. And humans were new contestants. Later that day, a siren rang. A voice echoed. Next fight. Sector 9. Combatant. Human. The man was pushed into a tunnel. He could hear the crowd above cheering in alien tongues. As he entered the arena, lights blinded him. The place was huge. A circle of sharp rocks. Fences sparking with electricity. Above, glass boxes filled with rich alien viewers drinking, laughing, betting. He looked up. And for the first time, he felt something strange. Rage. They were enjoying this. Enjoying him. A gate opened. Another alien creature stepped out, 4 arms, metal armor, holding twin swords. The bell rang. The fight began. The battle within the alien rushed forward with blades spinning. The man moved fast, ducking, rolling, dodging each strike. His body remembered the moves military training. Close combat, survival. He grabbed a rock and smashed it into the alien's leg. The creature fell but got up fast. One of the swords cut his side. Pain shot through him. But he kept moving. He jumped, grabbed the alien's neck and twisted. One arm broke. The creature screamed. Blood sprayed. He kicked its leg. It fell, then using the sword the alien dropped, he drove it straight into the chest. Silence. Then loud cheers from the crowd. He dropped the blade, breathing hard. Covered in blood. The voice returned. Winner, human. The watching eyes back in the control room. The silver-masked officer watched again. He fights with instinct, intelligence, emotion. It said, humans are more dangerous than we thought. The blue-skinned one replied. Should we kill him now? No, the tall one said. He is entertaining. And I want to know why he is not breaking. A memory returns that night. The man sat alone in a small cell. He washed the blood off, looked at the wounds. Then something clicked in his mind. Flash, a memory, a battlefield. He saw ships burning in space. Earth soldiers screaming. Orders shouted in his ear. Get the civilians out now. Then, nothing, he gasped. Held his head. The memory hurt, but it was something. His name. He remembered it. Not fully, but part of it. Reed, he whispered. My name is Reed. Final scene. Someone's watching in a dark room far away. An old alien scientist watched Reed on a screen. He zoomed in. Rewound the fight. Watched every move. He smiled. Project Iron Mind. One of them survived. Then he turned off the screen. Let's see how long you last, human. Hook, blood on the sand. The alien crowd was loud. Bright lights flashed. The ground shook under their roars. Inside the arena, Reed stood over a dead body, blood dripping from his hands. His breathing was fast. His eyes were wide. Around him, the sand was stained red and black. Above, in the floating glass boxes, alien nobles cheered. They bet on how long the human would last. One alien in a golden robe laughed. This one fights like he has nothing to lose. Another replied, he's only human. He will break. They always do. But far below, inside Reed's mind, a storm was growing. They want a show? He thought. Then I'll give them hell. After the battle, Reed was taken back to his cell by 4 flying drones. His hands were tied, his feet dragged. Blood ran down his side from the cut he got in the last fight. As they moved through the metal hallway, other prisoners watched. Some laughed, some looked impressed, some whispered, that's the human. He killed the 4-armed beast. He's not like the others. One prisoner, a small creature with blue skin and sharp teeth, smiled at him through the bars. Careful, human. You keep winning, they'll throw something bigger at you. Something you can't kill. Reed didn't answer. He just kept walking, quiet, focused. The cellmate at this time. His cell was not empty. There was someone sitting in the dark corner, An alien with smooth silver skin, long arms and black eyes. It looked up and spoke slowly. You bleed too much for someone who wins. Reed sat down across the cell, holding his side. And you talk too much for someone who hides, the alien chuckled. Name's Kelvar. I've been in this place for 4 years. You? Reed wiped his face. A few days, maybe. I don't even remember how I got here. Typical, Kelvar said. They wipe your memory before they drop you here. Makes it more entertaining. You wake up lost, angry. That's when the games begin. Reed narrowed his eyes. Who's they? Kelvar leaned forward. The Zareth Empire. They run this prison, but the games? The games are for the collectors, rich aliens who enjoy blood. You kill, they bet. You die, they cheer. Reed looked at the floor. And what happens if I don't fight? Kelvar smiled coldly. Then they feed you to something that doesn't wait for a fight. The next die, a loud buzzer woke them up. Red lights flashed across the hallway. Voice echoed. Next round, Sector 9, combatant, human. Reed stood, his wounds still fresh, his body tired. Kelvar looked at him. They're not giving you time to rest. They want to break you fast. Reed grabbed a strip of cloth from the corner and tied it around his arm. I won't give them the pleasure. As the cell doors opened, he walked out alone. Head high, heart cold. The arena, round 2, this arena was bigger. The walls were taller. The floor was covered in metal plates instead of sand. Pipes hissed steam. The air smelled like oil and death. Above, the alien crowd was louder than before. A large screen showed Reed's face and the name. Subject number 314, species, human. Status, alive. The gate opened. From the other side came a new challenger, a creature with a thick body, 4 mechanical arms, and a metal face. Its legs were made of fire-powered boosters. A cyber gladiator from the mines of Mekra. The crowd screamed, "Crush him! Break his bones!" Reed stood still. The bell rang. The fight began. The machine warrior, the machine fighter charged. Heavy, loud. Each step cracked the ground. Its arms spun like blades. Reed ran. He ducked under the first strike, rolled, grabbed a pipe from the floor, and smashed it into the machine's side. It didn't even flinch. The robot turned fast and hit Reed in the chest. He flew backward, hit the wall hard, and coughed blood. The crowd cheered. Reed got up slowly. His ribs hurt. His back burned. But he smiled. Pain meant he was still alive. He ran again. This time faster. He jumped off the wall, flipped over the machine, and landed behind it. He stabbed the pipe into a panel on its back. Sparks flew. The machine screamed and swung its arm. Reed ducked, tore off a cable, and kicked the machine's leg. It fell. One arm stopped spinning. Reed climbed on its back and smashed the metal panel again and again until it broke. The machine stopped moving. Silence. Then, winner, human. The scientist watches in a dark room below the arena. An alien scientist watched the screen. He had 6 eyes and wore a long white coat. He took notes. He's adapting, faster than expected. His brain learns patterns in seconds. His muscles repair twice as fast as normal. Project Ironmind is stable. Another alien behind him asked, "Should we inform the High Council?" "No." The scientist said, "Not yet. I want to see what breaks first, his body or his mind." Night visions. That night, Reed lay in his cell, staring at the ceiling. Kelvar spoke softly. "You keep fighting like you're trying to prove something." Reed didn't respond. "I saw a human once," Kelvar said. "Years ago. He lasted 1 fight. You? 2 already. Soon they'll send you to the death sector." Reed closed his eyes. A memory flashed again. Earth, bombs, fire, people screaming, a woman, a child, his family. He opened his eyes, breathing fast. Kelvar watched him. "You're remembering, aren't you?" Reed nodded. Just pieces. But it's enough. Kelvar leaned closer. Enough for what? Reed looked into the darkness. To know why I fight. Day 3. The arena changes next morning. Reed was led into a new arena. This one had no crowd, no lights. Just darkness. He stepped forward. Silence. Then movement. Something fast, invisible. A blur past him. Then again. Then claws scratched his back. He spun. Come out. A growl. A hiss. Then it appeared, a predator with light-bending skin. Cloaked. Invisible to most. Reed closed his eyes. He listened. A breath. A step. A click. He turned fast and threw a metal shard. It hit. Blood sprayed. The creature screamed. Reed followed the sound and tackled it. They rolled on the floor. Claws cut into him. But he punched back, again and again, until the creature stopped moving. He stood, bleeding, but alive. The lights turned on. A camera drone flew down and scanned him. Third victory confirmed. Reward or trap? Back in his cell, a surprise waited. Food. Clean water. A healing pack. Kelvar laughed. You've become a star. They want you alive, for now. Reed didn't touch the food. I don't want their gifts. But you need strength, Kelvar said. More fights are coming. Reed looked at him. I'm not just fighting to survive, he said. I'm fighting to escape. Kelvar's eyes widened. No one escapes Gorish 7. Reed leaned forward. Then I'll be the first. End scene. Unknown observer in a hidden part of the station. A different screen showed Reed's face. A shadowy figure stood in front of it. Tall, robed, glowing eyes. It spoke to someone behind him. Contact the scientist. Tell him ... The experiment is working. But if the human finds the truth too early, end him. The figure looked back at the screen. He doesn't know what he is, yet. Hook, waking on a cold table. Reed's eyes opened to blinding white light. He could not move. Cold metal bands locked his wrists, ankles, and chest. A faint hum filled the room, like distant bees behind a wall. Sterile air tasted of old paper and ozone. A tall figure leaned over him. 6 silver eyes blinked in 2 neat rows. The creature wore a pale coat and thin gloves that ended in needle-like fingertips. Do not fight, the figure said, voice soft but echoing. Struggle wastes your blood, and your blood is precious. Reed's heartbeat thundered. He pulled once, twice. The bands did not bend. Pain stabbed his side where yesterday's wound still bled under a fresh wrap. The figure touched a pad on the wall. A hollow cylinder drifted down, scanning Reed from head to toe with a thin blue curtain of light. The scan finished. Symbols scrolled. Across the pad, lines, circles, alien numbers Reed could not read. Good, the figure murmured. Your body repairs itself as predicted. Project Ironmind remains intact. Reed's voice cracked. Project, what? Rest, the figure said. You and I will speak soon. There's much you must know, and little time before the guards return. The figure pressed another key. Small needles retreated from Reed's arms. Metal bands unlocked with a hiss. His limbs were free, but heavy, as if every muscle remembered last night's fights. The figure stepped back. Sit up slowly. If you stand too fast, your head will spin. Reed sat, breathing hard. The room was circular, walls lined with dim jars holding organs, bones, and shining chips. A single doorway stood behind the figure. No guards, no cameras. Who are you? Reed asked. The figure bowed his long neck. Dr. Sayurin Volk, Sr., bioarchitect of the Zareth Empire. Today, however, I prefer friend. Reed kept his eyes on the door. Friends do not chain friends to tables. Volk's 6 eyes closed in unison like a sigh. Safety required restraint. My work cannot survive another broken specimen. Reed flexed his fingers, testing strength. Specimen, patient, if you wish. Soldier, if you wish. The word matters less than the truth. Your mind and body are engineered by humans, not by us. I am only the observer the Empire hired to measure your limits. Memory like shattered glass, the name Project Ironmind scraped something loose inside Reed's skull. He saw flashes, white coats, bright labs, Earth flags on shoulder patches. He remembered a woman with warm eyes saying, "Hold still, Lieutenant. The neural lattice will bind in 60 seconds. Another flash, metal pods opened, cold fog rolling out. 7 soldiers rose together, bodies shining with thick gel. Officers clapped. Cameras recorded dot, then the scene twisted. Sirens, gunfire, alien ships burning the sky red. The same woman pulled Reed down a hallway. If they board, you and your unit hold Corridor Delta. Do not let them take the lattice cores. The memory shattered into darkness. Reed gripped the edge of the table to keep from falling. Ironmind was human. Ours. You studied it after you captured us. Volk folded his long hands. Correct. We found 9 Ironmind soldiers in the wreckage of your cruiser. 8 died from impact and decompression. 1 remained alive, though barely, when he reached my lab. You. How long ago? Reed asked. You arrived 16 standard days back, Volk said. But you truly woke here only 5 days ago. After the Empire decided you should entertain the collectors. Reed remembered nothing of those 16 days. No light, no sound. A silent coma while aliens examined his bones like puzzles. He clenched his jaw. You watched me fight. You watched me kill. Why help me now? Volk glanced at the jars along the wall. Science ends where politics begins. The Council believes you are only amusement. I believe you are proof of something greater. A species that turns weakness into strength faster than any empire. I want to see how far that strength can go free of shock collars and betting boxes. Helping me escape is treason to your empire, Reed said. Volk's thin shoulders lifted in a slow shrug. I was a scientist long before I was a citizen. Besides, war with humanity is already treason to my principles. Consider this my correction. Reed rose from the table. His head swam but cleared. He stood taller than Volk by half a meter. What? Now? He asked. Now I close your wounds, Volk said, pointing to a chair under soft green lamps. Then I explain why every guard on Gorasha 7 will hunt you within the hour. Seams of steel and lightning. Reed sat in the chair. Volk pulled trays of silver dust and microthread. He sprayed a fine mist into Reed's side. Warmth spread, stitching flesh with living fibers. Skin sealed, pain withdrew like water from sand. Volk then placed 2 small discs at Reed's temples. Crackles of blue current pulsed inside his skull. Images bloomed, maps of corridors, service shafts, drone patrol paths. Volk spoke while Reed's mind absorbed them. Your neural lattice copies and stores data it sees once. I give you schematics of this sector-level Gamma, Research Wing, Arena Access, and Eastern launch shafts. Reed nodded as roots burned. Into memory, 1 path leads to a service elevator, Volk said. Ride it up 13 tiers. Exit at the maintenance ring, then drop through exhaust stacks to the ground. You will reach the prisoner yard by dawn shift. Guards on every ring, Reed said. Not all, Volk replied. Security rotates. Within 40 minutes, a blind window opens. You must move then. Reed caught the doctor's sleeve. Come with me. Volk's eyes dimmed. I cannot. My clearance unlocks only these labs. Beyond them, I am as trapped as any slave. Worse, my data holds crimes the Council will erase with fire. I stay, destroy records, slow pursuit. Reed shook his head. That is suicide. It is delay, Volk countered, and delay is life for you. The doctor handed Reed a small cylinder, neural key. Press to any Zareth console, and system doors will obey you for 10 seconds. Use sparingly. Reed slid it into a band. On his wrist, Volk raised another device. a metal collar lined with black spikes. This is what they planned to fit on you after the next fight. One thought of escape, and it would burst your nerves. I disabled the signal. Wear it openly. Cameras will think you still leashed. Reed fastened the collar. It felt like ice. A reminder of chains he refused to accept. Finally, Volk produced a simple staff carbon core, tip-wired with tiny coils. Not elegant, but it conducts iron mine voltage, he said. Strike metal, and you can cut power to a whole section. Reed spun the staff once, testing balance. Good weight. Footsteps echoed outside heavy boots. 2 guards. Volks. Eyes flicked to the door. They patrol early. He pushed Reed toward a vent. Go, leave the collar visible. If we meet again, it will be off this planet. Reed paused. Why trust me? Volk smiled thin, sad. Because when humans break chains, they break their enemies. I want to see that day. Reed slipped into the vent. The grate slid shut behind him. Crawl through coils, the vent was narrow, edges sharp. Reed dragged the staff behind him. Hot air roared past from furnaces below. He crawled 50 meters, turned left where memory map glowed in his thoughts, then descended a ladder onto a catwalk above generator pistons. Lights flashed red beneath. 2 engineers argued at a console, unaware of the silent human above. Reed waited, heart tight, until they faced the other way. He dropped to a pipe, then to the floor, landing with a soft roll. A door stood across the chamber, sealed by a pad. He pressed Volk's neural key. Circuits sparked blue. The door slid open. Reed slipped through just as alarms warbled distant. And then someone had found the empty lab. Blind window corridors blurred as Reed ran left. Up right, through hissing steam curtains and past cages where mutated beasts slept in drugs. Sirens grew louder behind. Guards shouted. He reached the service elevator, jammed the key again. Doors parted. The box rose, shuddering. He counted tiers. 1, 3, 7. At 9, the lift slowed. Voices above guards stationed on 12. Reed cursed. He jabbed controls, but override refused without rank code. The cage halted at 11. Doors clanged open. 2 armored soldiers turned, surprised at the lone prisoner. Reed leaped before they readied weapons. His staff cracked the first helmet, sparks dancing. A kick sent the second against the wall. Reed slammed the staff tip into a power conduit. Light burst, darkness fell. He ran past the stunned bodies into shadow. Emergency lights flickered. In the dim, he climbed a ladder inside the shaft the rest of the way. Breath burned his lungs. Tears blurred. He emerged on Ring 13, a maintenance deck of giant fans. One fan blade sat frozen for repairs, an exit-sized gap leading to open pipework. Blinking lights in the distance marked watchtowers, but this narrow route looked forgotten. Reed sprinted across. Metal rattled. Below, nothing but black gulf kilometers to the planet's surface. He crawled into the exhaust stack and slid down. Cables greasy with soot. Heat rose, sweat stung his eyes. The collar dug into flesh. Halfway, tremors shook the pipe. Turbines starting early. Reed dropped faster, boots scraping. He spotted a side hatch, kicked, burst into a supply tunnel, rolling. Out as fire roared up the shaft behind. Dust and smoke filled the tunnel. Alarms echoed overhead. Escape plan intact for now. Ground of broken chains. Dawn light seeped through vents when Reed reached the prison yard. Jagged walls rose around an expanse of scorched soil where inmates built shelters from scrap. Drones hovered above, scanning. Reed stayed in shadows, staff wrapped in cloth. He moved toward a row of sheds built against the perimeter. Inside one, he found Kelvar bandaging a claw wound on another prisoner. Kelvar's eyes widened. You vanished after the third fight. Rumor said they fed you to the labs. Labs let me go, Reed whispered. I'm leaving tonight. Kelvar laughed once no humor. Leave? There are walls, drones, implants that fry brains. Reed tapped his collar. Mine is dead metal. Kelvar reached out, touching it. No shock. His face changed from disbelief to harsh hope. How? He asked. Later, Reed answered. I need allies. People who can climb, dig, distract anything. Kelvar glanced around. Many want freedom, but fear is stronger. Reed lifted the staff and planted it in the dirt. Then we break. Fear first. He told Kelvar about the elevator path, the maintenance deck, the blind window. Each word sparked light behind the alien's eyes. I can gather 6, Kelvar said. Maybe 10. 6 is enough, Reed replied. Shouts cut through the yard. Guard squads burst from gates, weapons ready. Spotlights crossed. A loudspeaker boomed. Prisoner 314 human report to Central Arena. Immediate round. Kelvar gripped Reed's arm. They know you're loose, Reed exhaled. Let them know where to find me. He stepped into the open. Drones locked sensors on him. Guards yelled orders. Prisoners watched, frozen. Reed raised his voice. Zareth wants another show? Fine. But tonight, the cage burns. He slammed the staff onto a power conduit stake protruding from the ground. Blue arcs ripped upward. Lights died. Sirens wailed, then choked. Towers went dark. Prisoners gasped. Drones swerved in confusion. Guards fired blind. Chaos bloomed. Kelvar dragged Reed back into shadow. You lit the spark, he said, eyes shining. Now we fan it. Doctor in the dark deep, in Gamma Labs. Dr. Volk erased files line by line. Cameras showed static. Doors. Hammered security trying to breach. He finished the purge, then opened a hidden channel to an off-world relay. He spoke fast. Subject 314 is active. Protocol Iron Mine Delta holds. Estimate 6 days until retrieval fleet from Earth arrives. I will delay Empire forces until extraction window. End. He sent the packet, switched channels, and flooded the lab with neutralizer gas. He slipped into a vent just as soldiers broke in, firing. Volk crawled through tight ducts, mind calm. For science, for balance, for the fire that lived in one human soldier. He would trade everything. Message from the stars night fell red-orange from Goresh 7's dusty sky. Fires burned along the yard where Reed and Kelvar led a band of 10. Rebels, cutting power nodes, stealing rations, mapping walls. In a quiet moment under cracked concrete slabs, Kelvar handed Reed a captured beacon. Pick this off a drone you smashed. It still listens to orbit channels. Reed pressed. The earpiece. Static hissed, then a clear human voice. Any Iron Mind unit, this is UN-SEF frigate Resolute. Fleet arrives in system on Galactic Day 47, 6 cycles from now. Hold ground. Repeat, hold ground. We are coming. Reed closed his eyes. 6 days. He let the words settle like armor on his heart. He looked at his small band alien, human, broken. Angry. Rescue is coming, he said. We just need to survive 6 nights and keep the sky clear until they appear. Kelvar laughed, a fierce bright sound. 6 nights is a lifetime on Goresh 7. Then let's live a lifetime, Reed answered. And make the Empire regret every hour of it. Cliffhanger, Empire's response high above, in the command tower. Admiral Corys of the Zareth Empire watched flames spread across camera feeds. The human strode across screens like a ghost no collar could bind. Corys pointed to the map. Seal every passage. Bring hunters from Sector Kappa. I want prisoner 314 dead before sunlight. An officer bowed. Admiral, our outer sensors just received a burst from Gamma Labs. Data fragment only but origin traces to Dr. Siren Volk. Corus's eyes narrowed. Volk was warned. Send a kill squad. The Admiral turned back to the burning yard. On one feed, Reed looked straight at the camera, as if at Corys himself, eyes glowing orange from reflected fire. Corey's felt a chill first time in years. Humans don't break, he muttered, repeating rumors he had mocked. We will see. He ordered the tower shields raised and the planetary cannons charged. The duel of 6 knights had begun. Hook, shadows from the sky knight fell like smoke over. Go-7. Reed stood on the roof of a broken guard station, watching stars above. The sky no longer looked peaceful. Something new had arrived, something fast, black, and deadly. They weren't regular soldiers. These were hunters. Elite killers from the Zareth Empire. They didn't wear armor like other guards. They wore shadows, light-absorbing suits that bent the eye. They didn't march. They stalked. 3 arrived in ships so silent they passed like ghosts. Kelvar returned from a scouting run, panting. They landed in the northern crater, moved without light. Even the drones can't see them. Reed nodded, gripping the staff Volk gave him. They're not here to arrest anyone. They're here to kill. The rebel group behind them grew quiet. Even the tough ones, the ones who fought monsters in the arena, went still. Reed looked at each of them. 10 fighters, maybe 12 if the new ones joined, all afraid. All waiting for his words. He raised his voice. We knew they'd send worse than guards. He held up the broken collar. They're scared. That's why they sent ghosts. They know what we're doing, and they know rescue is coming. Someone whispered, 6 days. Reed nodded. 6 days of fire, of tricks, of holding this spark until it burns big enough that Earth can see it. We survive. We slow the hunters. That's our job. He pointed north. We don't hide. We make them chase us. The first strike the next night. They attacked first. Reed led a team of 4 through a vent shaft into a half-destroyed power wing. Rumor said one hunter was hiding inside, waiting for them to walk past so he could strike from behind. Reed didn't wait. He used the neural key to crack the service door. Moved in slow. No light. Just silence and heat. Then a flicker. A shimmer in the air like oil twisting. Reed rolled left. A razor wire sliced past where his neck had been. The hunter appeared. 7 feet tall. Skin blacker than shadow. No face, just a smooth visor. He moved fast. Too fast. Staffs clashed. Reed grunted as a shock pulse hit his ribs. He fell. The hunter raised a blade to finish him, but forgot the others. Kelvar dropped from above and drove. A power spike into the hunter's back. Blue light exploded. The hunter screamed, not like a person, but like breaking glass. It fell. Dead. Smoke rose from its skin. Reed stood, breathing hard. 1 down, he said. 2 more. The traps begin. Hunters were stronger, faster, smarter. But they weren't many. That was their weakness. Reed set traps, using scraps from dead drones and stolen parts from the lab tunnels. The team built electric snares, blinding flash bombs, and sonic lures. One trap caught a hunter mid-step. A cage dropped from the ceiling, locking it for 7 seconds, long enough for Reed and 3 others to attack with fire rods and shock sticks. The hunter died roaring, but it wasn't free. 2 rebels fell. 1 sliced across the chest. The other pulled screaming into the dark. They didn't find his body. Reed held the team together, but the fear returned. They're not just killing, one rebel said. They're studying us. Reed agreed, but said nothing. He had noticed something worse. That the hunters had started copying their traps. A visitor with a warning on the 3rd night. Reed sat under a broken fan blade, bandaging his shoulder. A burn from the last fight. A whisper echoed in the tunnel. Still alive, human? Reed stood fast, staff raised. Dr. Sear and Volk stepped from the dark, dirty, limping. His coat burned at the edges. Volk? Reed asked, surprised. You made it out. Volk nodded, not easily. But the hunters don't care about scientists. They care about you. He handed Reed a black chip. This holds codes for the Eastern Sky Tower. If you reach it, you can launch a signal strong enough to contact your fleet early. Reed's eyes widened. How early? 2 days, Volk said. K. Eel single quotes via are joined, listening. But, Volk warned, the hunters guard that path now. They know your plan. And tonight, the last one, their leader joins them. Reed asked, the leader? Volk's voice lowered. A hunter called Shade 13. He doesn't use weapons. He doesn't speak. He just ends. Even Kelvar looked pale. Volk turned. I returned to the underground. Too many cameras above. Good luck. Then he vanished into the dark again. Reed looked at the chip. At the faces of his friends. At the night, change of plan, he said. We go to the tower. The night climb getting to the tower meant crossing the wind bridge, an open pipe. Over a bottomless shaft. No rails. No cover. They waited for night's darkest hour. Reed led. Kelvar followed with 3 rebels. Each step across the pipe was death if they slipped. Halfway across, a shadow moved in the mist. The 3rd hunter struck. No sound. Just blur and blades. Kelvar took a hit in the leg. Fell. Hung from one hand. Reed turned and blocked a strike butt. His staff cracked. Keep going. He shouted. The hunter came at him. Reed jumped sideways off the pipe. Fell. Caught a wire 5 meters down. Swung hard, landed on a platform below with a grunt. The hunter followed, but not fast enough. Reed jammed a sonic bomb into a power coil. When the hunter reached him, boom, the blast threw it over the edge. It screamed into the void. Reed climbed up with bleeding hands. Kelvar was safe. The rest had made it. 2 hunters dead. 1 left. The tower's heart. They reached the sky towers. Base by morning. The sun was rising red, as if angry. Inside, alarms were already broken. No lights. Just cables, old tech, and a wide stair that reached up forever. Reed led the climb. At the top, they found the control room. Dusty. Locked. He used Volk's chip. The console came to life. He entered a code. The signal started. A long beep. Signal to UNSF begins in 5.4.3. Boom. The wall exploded inward. The last hunter stepped through. Shade 13. No armor. No face, just a long coat and silver claws. He moved like wind. In seconds, 3 rebels fell. Reed stepped forward. Staff raised. The hunter tilted his head. They fought. Fast. Brutal. Each strike shook the floor. Reed's staff broke. Shade's claw tore Reed's side. But Reed smiled. He kicked the last console button as he fell. The signal launched. A beam of light shot into the sky. Too late for the hunter. Reed dropped low. Swept Shade's legs. Slammed a shock rod into his back. The hunter convulsed. Shouted once. And collapsed. Dead. Reed fell beside him. Bleeding. Hope in the signal. They pulled Reed back to safety. He coughed, but smiled. It worked. Far above, the signal kept flashing. UNSF would see it. Help would come faster. Only 3 more days. Var looked at Reed's wounds. You shouldn't fight again. Reed laughed. Then I'll just lead. The others laughed too. Tired. Bloody. But still free. Still fighting. Cliffhanger. The Empire knows. In a distant room on Zareth's command ship, Admiral Corys watched the signal rise. He turned to his captains. They sent the signal. Earth will arrive early. He slammed his fist on the table. Then we crush them before that. He looked at a new file. Unleash Project Silence. Let the prisoners face a horror even humans haven't met. The screen flashed black. Something. Augur. Had been awakened. Hook. A cold wake-up signal. Had been sent. Help was coming. But peace did not follow. Reed sat near the broken sky tower's edge, his side wrapped in bandages. 3 nights had passed since the battle with Shade 13. He still felt the hunter's claws in his bones. Kelvar walked up quietly. Scout drones spotted something strange. A new drop ship, no sound. Landed beyond the black ridge. Reed narrowed his eyes. New hunter? Kelvar shook his head. Worse, no guards came out, no lights. But the plants around it wilted, died. Reed stood slowly. Let's take a look. The black ridge the team crossed the canyon with. Care. Smoke from recent battles still drifted in the air. Near the black ridge. Everything changed. No wind. No birds. No sign of life. They moved through twisted rocks until they saw it. A silver pod, tall as a house, smooth metal. No doors, no windows. Just sitting in the middle of the dead zone. Even the dirt looked sick. What is it? Whispered. One rebel. Reed stepped forward. A soft hum buzzed in the air. Not a hunter, he said. Something new. The pod clicked. It opened. Gas hissed out, thick and gray. Then, silence. No one came out. Reed backed away. Everyone fall back. Now, they ran, but behind them something moved, from the gas. A shape. It floated, not walked. Black like void. A face made of shifting metal. Eyes like broken stars. Project Silence had arrived. What is Project Silence? Back at the underground base, Dr. Siran Volk stared at the footage with wide eyes. No. They activated it? Reed leaned forward. What is it? Volk swallowed hard. Project Silence is not alive. It is not dead either. It's a weapon. Grown in the deepest Zareth labs. It doesn't feel pain. It doesn't follow orders like a soldier. It erases minds, Reed frowned. Like mind control? No, Volk said, voice shaking. It walks near, and you forget who you are. What you are. It makes your brain ... numpty. Kelvar asked, so how do we stop it? Volk looked. Down, no one ever has. First encounter that night. Silence spread through Sector 9. 3 rebels on watch didn't report in. Reed and Kelvar rushed to their post. What they found chilled them. The rebels were alive. Breathing. But blank. Eyes open. No wounds. One sat rocking, whispering nothing. Another stood against the wall, staring. The third cried without sound. Reed waved his hand in front of them. No reaction. They're gone. He whispered. K.E.L. single quotes. Via R picked up the radio. Everyone underground. We're moving base. Reed looked out into the dark. I'll stay. Slow it down. Kelvar grabbed his arm. You'll end up like them. Reed's eyes narrowed. Then I'll wear a helmet. The defense plan. The new base was hidden deep. Inside a canyon wall. Volk used an old mining map to seal all but one exit. Reed and the team built traps, not to kill Silence, but to delay it. Loud lights, sound walls, magnetic fields. All experimental. Volk explained. It absorbs thought. So distract it. Flood its senses. Overload it. Make it confused. That's the only chance. Reed nodded. They lured Silence toward them using an old tracking drone. It took the bait. On night 4, it arrived. Battle in the canyon. The alarms. Screamed. Gas rolled into the base tunnels. Silence hovered in. Lights flashed. Sounds roared. Lasers blinked. The creature paused. It shimmered, unsure. Reed leapt from above, swinging a beam staff. It passed through. No contact, but the distraction worked. Silence turned to face him, and Volk triggered the trap. A magnetic field wrapped around it. For a moment, just one, it stopped moving. Then it screamed. Everyone fell to their knees. Ears bleeding. Volk shouted, "The cage won't hold it long." Reed stood, grabbing a shock net. Time to test human madness. He threw it. The net sparked. Silence twisted. Screamed again. It fled. Back into the dark. The cost of survival. The trap worked. For now, but damage was done. 4 more rebels had lost their minds. Even Kelvar's hand shook after the scream. Reed sat with Volk. "We can't fight it again," he said. Volk looked up. "Then we don't. We trick it." "How?" "We give it a target it can't resist." He opened a blueprint. "There's an old memory core in Tower Delta, still linked to the prison AI. full of data. If we overload it, it will shine like a beacon of thought. Silence will go straight to it, Reed nodded. And we trap it for good? If we're lucky, Volk said. If not, it'll destroy the core and break loose. Reed smiled. That's how we play. The final bait, the next morning, they marched to Tower Delta. 2 days left until Earth arrived. The team wired the core to a massive thought loop, memories of 10,000 prisoners. Compressed into one signal. It was. Bait. Reed stood in the main hall, waiting. Silence arrived at nightfall. It moved fast. No floating now. Angry. It tore down walls. Melted metal. Then it reached the core. Stopped. Stared. The signal hit it full force. It twisted. Screamed. The core caught fire. Reed hit the final button. The core exploded. Fire and light. Silence. Vanished in the blast. Dust fell. Then silence. True. Silence. Aftermath. Reed woke under rubble. Alive. Kelvar pulled him free. You did it, he said. Volk limped into view. No signal from the creature. I think. I think it's gone. Reed stood. Looked up. In the sky flashing lights. Earth's fleet had arrived. They made it. Against hunters. Against monsters. Against silence itself. Cliffhanger. The final enemy watches, but on a Zareth warship far away. Admiral Corey stood before a dark screen. A voice spoke through static. Double quotes. Silence. Has failed. Corey's bowed. The voice said, then release the Titan protocol. Corey's looked afraid, but it could destroy the whole system, the voice interrupted. Human courage has gone too far. Now show them Zareth fury. Hook. Fire in the sky. Earth ships filled the sky above. Gorish 7. A rescue at last. But something else lit the planet. A thunderous explosion from orbit. The planet shook underfoot. Even the arriving fleet paused mid-orbit. Reed looked up. From the broken command tower. His wounds still raw, but hope burned brighter than ever. He felt Earth's presence, almost real. Then the planet roared. A beam of red energy lanced down from orbit, hitting the black ridge where Project Silence had landed. Another beam scorched Sector 11. A third struck the eastern launch shaft exactly. The area Reed had planned to escape from. That wasn't Earth. That was the Zareth Empire. And they activated Titan Protocol. Reed clenched his fists. They want to burn our home. Kelvar yelled. They're killing their own planet. Reed glared at the sky. Then let's light up hell. Titan Protocol, the machine of gods deep. In the Dr. Volk's lab, he stared at shattered consoles and melting steel. The Titan Protocol, not a single machine, but a network of orbital lasers, planetary bunkers, and data-killing mind rays. Designed to court-martial entire worlds into obedience. Volk handed Reed schematic shards. The blast target hour. Escape path. The Empire wants to trap you as everyone. They may destroy the eastern shaft or irradiate the path. Reed nodded. Then we build a diversion, lure them away from our exit. Volk looked pained. Yes, a big one. Resistance revolution. Reed spoke to the base prisoners, both human and alien. Zareth tries to trap us under fire. We will turn the fire back at them. He described the plan. Lead a convoy to Sector 11 ripe with EO drums, ancient alien power cores. They could vent upward to block the orbital lasers. Then sneak through eastern shaft in the distraction. A ruckus of shouts and cheers followed. Fear mixed with courage in every face. Kelvar pulled Reed aside. They'll fire on you. This is suicide. Reed touched his shoulder. Death is cheaper than chains. The convoy 10 hours later. They moved. The convoy rattled through twisted streets and broken watchtowers. IO drums chained to carts. Kids safe inside cargo compartments. Every step pulsed with tension. Behind. The Earth fleet's beacons shone red. Above. Zareth's orbital beams hit below. Ahead. The threshold of Sector 11 loomed, dust and flame. Reed marched first. Triple Ambush. The convoy reached the sector's boundary, marked by massive steel pylons. A beam fell on one EO drum. The drum sparked, then shot an electric column into the sky, blinding all near it. Reed took the moment to rally the convoy. That's when Zareth unleashed hunters' squads from attack pods behind hills. They dropped silent, precise, deadly. Reed's fighters responded shock, rods, flash grenades, and tribal fury. The convoy halted in burning dust. 4 hunters moved in formation, Tier 1 killers. Right behind them, Chorus's new weapon, half machine, half Zareth soldier, called the Titan Warder. Reed watched his team falter. Reed versus Titan Warder. The Warder stood tall, plated in steel, eyes glowing blue. It wielded a rifle planted with black crystal. Reed rushed. They clashed in the burning zone. Reed's staff was broken. He punched, kicked, twisted, using the ancient ferocity of human brawlers. The Warder fired, but crystal shuttered off fire rods from comrades, which Reed drove into its armor. Sparks flew. It reached for a psychic weapon meant to fry Reed's mind, but Reed slipped behind, pulled open its plate, and thrust a hot rod into its circuits. The Warder's eyes dimmed. It stumbled. Its rifle dropped. Sparks crackled. Reed ended it with a kick to the spine. Violence and the drum's rage. The convoy regained momentum. Rebels propped burning drums around pylons. With every beam, another drum detonated, creating towering electric pillars. Zareth's orbital weapons shifted dance of cat and mouse. For a moment, they cannibalized their own beams, luring fire away from eastern shaft. Children screamed in closed wagons. Then silence. Safe. They pressed on. Betrayal and sabotage in the smoke and chaos. A figure emerged on a ridge stage. Deathwalker, last Alpha Hunter. It lifted a hand, calling down a laser from orbit. It scorched the leading cart. 2 rebels died instantly. Reed howled rage. He charged, heading into a 50-meter open line. Lasers shot past, scorching his clothes. He stumbled, bleeding. Kelvar rushed next to him. We lost path. He shouted. Reed spit blood. Fused the drums. He pulled a detonator. Clear. The convoy jumped back. Below, 6 drums exploded, rocketing electric fire into the sky. That pulse, a distortion pulse, temporarily knocked out Zareth's laser aiming systems. The convoy rushed through gap they opened. The eastern shaft. They reached the eastern launch shaft just as sun broke the horizon. Zareth's beams clung to the walls but didn't hit the shaft. Reed looked back at the fleet above their arrivals. Small dots descending. He turned to Kelvar. Your turn. Kelvar placed an explosive charge at the door lock. Reed took the children inside wagons. A rumble. Doors locked. Kelvar looked up, saluted. Reed sprinted up the stair to the hatch. Behind. Explosion. They escaped through smoke. Daybreak. They reached the surface of Gorash 7 with Earth Marines pouring in. Rescue was real. Earth soldiers hugged survivors. Rebels grasped Earth hands. Streamers and lights erupted. Reed stood with Kelvar and Volk. A Marine captain pulled them aside. We'd have fallen without you, these aliens, he said, pointing to prisoners, would have died holding. What can we do? Reed glanced at the sky and ruined planet. We win, then we rebuild. We bring them home. All of them. Kelvar squeezed his arm. Then we rebuild together. Volk nodded. And I will answer for my crimes, but first peace. Cliffhanger. The Empire's last gamble aboard a Zareth dreadnought in orbit. Admiral Corey stood before a single glowing orb. He touched it. Titan protocol was far from over. He whispered, activate quasar cannon. The screen below lit with dozens of target markers, each an Earthship, each a final test of human will. Hook. The countdown begins. In the dark corner of space, something massive moved. Not a ship. Not a planet. The quasar cannon, Zareth's final weapon, half star, half machine, now turned toward Gorash, 7. Inside its glowing core, energy twisted like a living sun. One shot from it could destroy 10 Earthships, or crack the planet in half. Admiral Corey stood on the command bridge. His hands trembled, his voice didn't. Begin charging sequence. A deep hum echoed. The countdown began. 60 minutes. Panic across the fleet onboard Earth's lead ship. The Star Reclaimer, Commander Hale, received the warning. "Sir," said the tactical officer, "massive energy spike from orbit. We think it's the quasar cannon." Hale stood slowly. "So it's true." He opened comms with Goresh. 7. "Reed, this is Hull. You've got 58 minutes. If that cannon fires, we all die." Reed stood in the eastern shaft, blood dried on his face. "Understood." Kelvar looked at him. "What's the plan?" Reed didn't blink. "We destroy a god." Dr. Volk's risky plan back at base. Dr. Seiran Volk explained. "The cannon's energy core uses quantum stabilizers. Very precise. If we disrupt its input signal, even for a second, it could collapse." Kelvar frowned. "How do we reach it?" "It's in orbit." Volk smiled grimly. "We don't. We hack it from here." He opened an old Zareth control relay, still connected to orbital satellites. "But we need time. And power." "Massive power?" Reed asked. "How much power?" Volk replied, "Every power core on the planet." Reed nodded. "Then let's light the whole world." The planet-wide hijack, the rebels and Earth troops moved fast. Reactor stations rerouted. Wind farms rewired. Old war batteries dug up and charged. Even children helped carry solar plates from fallen towers. Kelvar led teams to relay zones. Reed stayed at the signal tower, guarding Volk as he prepared the override. Above them, the quasar cannon pulsed, its ring spinning. 20 minutes left. Zareth strikes again, but Korez wasn't idle. He deployed Void Bombers, black ships that carried anti-signal warheads. Their goal: destroy the uplink towers before the override reached orbit. 3 towers went dark. Volk cursed. "We need one more tower or the signal won't be strong enough." Reed took the mic. "This is Reed. I'm going up the Needle Tower. Old communications hub in dead sector. I'll power it myself." Kelvar snapped. "That tower hasn't worked in 20 years. Reed smiled. "Then it's overdue for a miracle." Climb into fire. The Needle Tower stood like a dagger above broken land, 900 meters tall. Bent, cracked, but still standing. Reed climbed with a team of 3, a hacker, an engineer, and a sharpshooter. Wind howled. The ground below glowed red. They reached the top at minute 9. The engineer connected the last relay. The hacker linked it to Volk's system. "Signal live," she said. 1 minute to sync. Then the bombers came. 4 of them. Too fast. Sacrifice and signal. The sharpshooter fired fast. 2 bombers fell. The third fired, striking the towers. Midsection. It shuddered. The last bomber came in hard. The engineer shoved the hacker down the hatch. "I'll hold it." The bomber hit. Explosion. The tower cracked, bent, but stood. Engineer died, but the core stayed powered. Volk yelled in Reed's earpiece. "Signal locked. I'm sending it now." Above them, the quasar cannon pulsed wildly. Quasar cannon collapsing on the Zareth ship. Alarm screamed. "Unstable. Core, input corrupted." Corey shouted, "Shut it down." But it was too late. The quasar cannon's rings spun faster. Its light turned blue, then purple, then black. It let out a sound like a dying star, and exploded. A ripple of light burst across the sky. Earth's ships shook but were safe. Reed watched the fireball fade. He whispered, "Told you. We don't break." Aftermath. And hours later, Earth's forces took control of the Zareth wreckage. Reed, Kelvar, and Volk stood before Commander Hale. "You did more than survive," Hale said. "You ended the Empire's strongest weapon." Reed looked around. We didn't just win, we proved something. Kelvar added that humans and aliens together can fight back. Volk lowered his head. And I proved some monsters can still be redeemed. Halle saluted. The galaxy will remember you. But one threat remains. Far away, in deep black space, a strange screen flickered. An AI voice echoed. Quasar cannon lost. Silence destroyed. Titan protocol failed. Another voice answered. Colder, older. Then awaken the last gate. Bring the overmind. On screen, a star map lit up. At the center Earth, Hook, the shadow beyond victory. They thought the war was over. The Quasar cannon was destroyed. Project Silence defeated. Titan protocol crushed. But in the cold dark of space, something else moved. Older than Zareth. Smarter than AI. Hungrier than death. The OVERMIND. It had been watching from deep space. Learning, waiting, and now it awakened. Earth was next. 1 week later, Earth orbit. Reed stood on the bridge of the Star Reclaimer, looking down at Earth. He hadn't seen it in over 5 years. Kelvar stood beside him, now wearing Earth colors. Dr. Sayurin Volk, his crimes forgiven, served as lead science officer. Peace was near. A human-alien alliance formed. Wounded worlds ready to heal. Then the sky cracked. 3 huge ships appeared. Not Zareth. Something else. Long. Silent. Like floating tombs. The stars around them dimmed. Volk turned pale. It's the Overmind. It came for us. What is the Overmind? Volk explained as the fleet prepared for war. The Overmind is not a machine, not a species. It's a hive intelligence, a god of thought. It moves from galaxy to galaxy, absorbing minds and tech. Zareth served it once, then tried to control it. They failed. Kelvar asked, so, it feeds on minds? Volk nodded. Not just. Feeds, rewrites, turns people into something else. Keeps their bodies, kills their will. Reed clenched his jaw. Then we'll make sure we're not eaten. The first attack, orbit battle, the Overmind ships launched Silver Swarm's mind. Leeches small, fast, sharp. They attached to Earthships and hijacked systems. Others tried to breach minds from a distance. Reed's ship shook under impact. His crew began to hear whispers. Voices in their heads. Give in, join us, end the pain. One pilot screamed and fired on a friendly ship. Reed grabbed him. You're stronger than this. Volk rushed in with a neural patch, blocked the voice just in time. Everyone on the bridge, patch up your minds. Volk shouted. They fought back missiles, lasers, pulse bombs. 2 Overmind ships fell. 1 Earth ship lost. The last firewall, human will. Volk proposed a desperate plan. There's a mind link node in the Overmind center ship. That's where it controls the swarm. If we destroy it, the whole army collapses. Reed agreed. Then we go in. Kelvar smiled. A last run. Volk said, you'll have to fly into the ship's thought field. It will try to change. You make you doubt everything. Reed nodded. Then we'll hold on to who we are. Final infiltration. Inside the Overmind. Reed, Kelvar, and a small team launched in stealth pods. They slipped past defenses, dodging leeches and psychic traps. They entered the Overmind's ship. It wasn't like any other. No metal, no wires. It was alive. Walls pulsed like veins. Lights blinked like eyes. They moved forward, hearing whispers. You are alone. You failed your people. You are just bones and noise. Kelvar fell to one knee. I see fire. My world, gone. Reed grabbed him. No, that was the past. We're still fighting. They pushed forward. The core, a battle of minds. They reached the central chamber. A floating brain made of light, wires, and memory. It pulsed once. The room went dark. Suddenly, Reed was back on go. -7. Alone. Bleeding. The stars gone. You failed. The voice said. You lost everyone. Why fight anymore? Then he heard another voice. Kelvar, you don't break. You break your enemies. Reed stood tall. I remember who I am. He slammed the Viverus pulse core into the Overmind's brain. Light exploded. The whispers stopped. Collapse and escape the Overmind. Screamed a sound that shook the galaxy. Its ships twitched, froze, then fell. The hive lost control, but Reed's team had only seconds. The ship was falling apart. They ran walls melting. Gravity spinning out at the last second. Volk's ship swooped in, grabbed their escape pod, and flew out. Behind them, the Overmind ship shattered one final burst of black. Light gone. Earth's free cheers echoed across ships. Earth was safe. The Overmind had fallen. No more voices. No more fear. On the surface, people lit fires, danced, wept. Reed stood before a crowd. He said, "We were prisoners, then rebels, then warriors. Now we are something more. We're proof that humans don't break." Kelvar added, "And that when we stand together, Zareth, alien, human, we rise higher than any empire." Volk bowed. Let the galaxy remember this day, not as war, but as awakening. Epilogue. The legacy of Will. Years later, children read stories of the battle for Earth, of the prison planet. Of Project Silence, of Titan Protocol, of the Overmind, and of one line written in every book: "Humans don't break, we break our enemies." The end.